안녕하세요 여러분. 탄 4개월 만에 한국어를 유창하게 할 수 있을지 궁금하는데 할 수 있었을까요? So as you can see from the title, I gave myself the challenge to see how much Korean I can learn in 3 months. If you're new to this channel and you don't know, I am Audrey. I love learning languages. I speak English and Vietnamese. I also speak some Mandarin Chinese and a little French. So why not add a little Korean to the mix? So for me, my goal was to see if I could become conversational in Korean in just 3 months of studying. And my hope was that I would be able to focus as much as possible on learning Korean by shifting my priorities in my daily life, so getting off of social media and just hitting the books instead of scrolling on my phone. But why Korean specifically? So in 2009, I started listening to Korean music when I was in high school, and I loved the music, I loved the dramas, the food, everything. Like, I'm very into Korean everything, which sounds a little cringe. But I'm also an international student advisor with Korean students that come to my institution. I live in an area that has a little bit of a Korean population in New Jersey. We shop at the Korean supermarket. So it would be really useful if I could know Korean, and hopefully one day I'd love to travel to Korea. So back when I was in high school, I wanted to learn Korean, and so for my 18th birthday, I actually gifted myself a book, Integrated Korean. So when I was 18, I actually successfully learned Hangul, which is the Korean alphabet. So I was able to read and write Hangul. I just could not speak or understand what, like, I could say what it said, but I could not understand what it meant. So I started with the Hangul, and that was in college. And then once things got busy in university, like, I just kind of gave up because Korean was not as easy as I thought it would be. The sentence structure is very different from the languages that I've learned previously, such as French, Vietnamese, Chinese. Like, the sentence structure and grammar was very different, and so it just kind of put a wall in front of me. So I have been listening to Korean music for a long time and watching dramas, and I have picked up random words and phrases, and I can pronounce things pretty well. Which is why I thought, okay, Audrey, sit the heck down, let's learn Korean in 3 months. Some of the challenges that I anticipate are learning grammar, learning particles, learning honorifics, and those are the basic ones. Like, I feel like vocabulary and pronunciation is not bad for me. So as long as I can understand how to make sentences, then that's going to be a huge win for me if I can do that after 3 months. So the method to learn Korean that I decided to use is to use the Italki language app, which connects you to native language speakers as teachers, and so they can help you with your language journey. And since I already knew that in the past a few times I've tried to learn Korean on my own, that it doesn't really work that way, and I needed a little extra help, so I was looking forward to having a teacher in the Italki app that could guide me and explain things so that I could actually start making progress on making sentences. And I have used Italki for learning Vietnamese in the past, so I knew it was a good resource. So I just want to say thank you to Italki for sponsoring today's video. Of course, taking lessons on Italki is not the only method that I'm using. I'm also just going to be listening to Korean music still and watching dramas, but trying to do it in an active way where I'm like actually listening to the words that are being said. So I think that that will be a little bit helpful for my journey because it's fun, but also kind of quizzes me on what I've learned. I also use flashcards to learn vocabulary, and I'm using my iPad as a notebook to just write and write and write and read and write, like to just drill it into my head. Okay, so the first week of the challenge, I didn't have a teacher yet, but I started just by like trying to write out random sentences and like kind of just refresh my memory on Hangul. So I was writing things, but I didn't know if it made sense or if it was correct, but I was just trying my best to just jumpstart the process of learning Korean before I had a teacher. So for week 2 is when I started with my professional Korean teacher in the Italki app. His name is Nguyen, and since he's a professional teacher, he does go by a little more of an old school way of teaching. So we use the King Sejong Institute Foundation's textbook and workbook for beginners for his teachings, and we did start with self-introductions and, you know, those simple things that you usually learn when you first start a language class. So since I'm a beginner, like I do know some things, but I still have to be categorized as a beginner, I had no problem starting in a very beginner stage.
우리 오늘 책 공부할까요?
네.
가방이 어디에 있어요?
가방이 의자 위에 있어요. 가방이 의자 밑에 있어요.
좋아요.
He was very nice and patient with me if I had questions outside of what we were learning in the textbook. So I thought he was a nice teacher and continued lessons with him every week. I took my second Korean lesson today and like honestly I feel like it's hard because I can say a lot of I can speak pretty quickly and like learn pretty fast, but because I'm so beginner, my teacher is going extremely slow. So like the lesson we did today was 30 minutes and I feel like I only learned like 3 new things because like it was mostly review. So I'm going to try like over the next week to learn as much as I can for like just general conversational, like I'm gonna just like drill very general phrases into my head so that I can use them. Like today I impressed him because I said 잠깐만, which means like wait a minute, because my internet was messed up, so I was like 잠깐만, and then I fixed the internet and he was like oh, and like I don't know, he said like good job, but I don't know how to say it. Like I understood he said that, but I just cannot remember. It was like something, I don't know, I gotta figure it out. So goal for the next week, so for this past week my learning I just did here, I'll show you guys. And so then this was today's lesson. It was like literally like the EAO stuff again. There was a new greeting. 잘 지냈어요? 잘 지냈어요? 네, 잘 지냈어요. That's a greeting. Self-introductions, 자기소개. 자기소개 is self-introductions. Then we did like just like a little time, like this is all we did for 30 minutes. We were following the textbook. So you can see my textbook, I have it here. We were following this. So we did this dialogue today. We did this whole page today. And then we didn't get to this page yet. So my homework is to do this page by myself. I'm probably gonna just like work through the book as much as I can because I need to do more. But yeah, today is October 16th. We are 2 weeks into the Learning Korean Challenge, and so far I think what's happening is like, you know, like this is gonna sound so weird, there's like synapses in your brain like where they connect. So I think what I'm doing, and I don't even know if I'm saying this right, but like synapsi, I'm connecting the synapses, whatever it is, in my brain for like understanding Korean. So I still can't say much, but I think like little teeny bit. Oh, and there's a connection, and there's a connection. I'm like slowly connecting the dots, and then I know like in maybe a few more weeks, maybe 3-4 weeks, it's gonna hit. Like it's gonna, all of a sudden the connections are gonna like light up and I'm gonna be able to speak. So I know that it's just a slow process in the beginning. Once you get the basics, like I guess the foundation of the house is laid, then you can start building up. So I'm like very excited, and I think most people get excited, they just want to build the house but they haven't built the foundation yet. So right now, month 1, building the foundation in Korean. So for weeks 3 and 4, I continued my 30-minute lessons with Yongkung, and I actually booked a 5-lesson bundle with him through the Italki app, which I loved that I could do that because I got a slight discount, and then my calendar had the lesson every week, so I knew to prepare for it. But I like that Italki is not a subscription, and you can actually just pay per lesson, and you can also search via the search function to see teachers that are in your budget. So the Korean teachers are a little more expensive than the Vietnamese teachers, but I found that I did get, you know, a reasonable deal, in my opinion, for what I was receiving, the professional help from a teacher. But I will say, weeks 3 and 4, I started to get discouraged because I was hitting that wall, the wall of, can I really learn Korean? Is this really a language I can conquer? Because in the past, I've had so many difficulties trying to learn Korean. And now, as we get into more of the particles and the verbs and the conjugations, I started to freak out a little bit. I was also worried that only 30 minutes per week was not enough time to be in a Korean class if I wanted to seriously learn Korean in 3 months. So I decided that for the remaining lessons, I would increase the duration to 45 minutes. An hour, I could have done an hour, but like the budget, you know, the budget, people, the budget. I chose 45 minutes. So you can choose 30, 45, an hour, So that's also great. You can make your lessons as long or short as they need to be for your budget. Love that. So I did that, and I also decided that, you know, while Youngkung is a really great teacher, I felt like I needed a second teacher so that I could improve a little bit quicker. So I searched in the app, which has over 30,000 language teachers, and I found Dia Shi. So Dia, she is not a professional teacher. She teaches her own way, and it's really creative and fun. Her way of teaching is teaching you like you're a baby learning Korean, and I really appreciate that. So from day one of her lessons, we were speaking, like I was speaking Korean nonstop the whole hour, and let me just say that was exhausting. But I did a trial lesson with Dia and also with Youngkung. You can do trial lessons with all of your teachers to make sure it's a good fit before you actually move ahead with them. And so in my trial lesson with Dia, she was really good about explaining her lessons, and I felt like I really connected with her. So I was really happy to hire her as my second backup teacher. So I then had, after the first month, I then started having 2 teachers. Hey guys, Korean language check-in. It is October 25th, so it's been almost a month of me learning Korean. I have taken 3 classes in 3 weeks, so it's only a 30-minute class, so it's really not much to learn. And I've been self-studying on the side, and I'm pretty much at the point where I usually give up. The last few times I tried to learn Korean, as soon as I got to like trying to learn how to make a sentence and conjugate verbs, that's when I give up. And so I'm there, and I'm also at the point where I'm questioning myself, like, why am I even learning Korean? Because my other languages I know, like I learned Chinese because I was studying abroad in China, so I needed to know Chinese to live in China. Vietnamese, obviously I have Vietnamese family, so I use Vietnamese every single day. But for Korean, I don't really have like a clear motivation, so I think that's part of my problem. So I'm trying to think, like, what is my motivation? I'm trying to like visualize, like, what is the benefit of learning Korean? And the first thing I thought of is, like, if we ever travel to Korea, I would be able to speak Korean, so that would be really cool. But that's basically it. That's all I have so far. So yeah, I just wanted to check in and say that it is not easy. Like, this language is very hard for me. And also, by the end of the first month, I kind of came up with a more motivating reason why I wanted to learn Korean. Because at first I was like, oh, I just want to be conversational. But why? So I decided that my main goal is to be able to connect with Korean people. If I meet somebody who's Korean and I speak some Korean and, you know, get to talk to them in their native language and feel the joy of them hearing their language from somebody that they wouldn't expect with no Korean, that brings me a lot of joy, to be able to talk to people in their native language. I know that this day and age, everybody's learning English, but I still think that it's very respectable to learn other languages to connect with people. So that became my main goal of why I want to learn Korean, and I felt like that really propelled me and motivated me to continue, and also to not be too shy speaking Korean with Korean people, because I was like, Audrey, if you want to speak Korean, you gotta start speaking Korean. Like, you gotta 안녕하세요 when you go out. Like, you see somebody, you say 안녕하세요, 아저씨, 안녕하세요. You're gonna say hi, you know. Yeah, they might be like, oh, your Korean's so good, and then say something else and you don't know, but whatever, you know, it's fine. Let's start there. Let's not be shy. So I had that little bit of discouragement, and then the more motivation, and then I pushed through. I have so many pages of notes. I have really been trying to learn. As you can see, like, almost every night before bed I study. This was my most recent lesson I did on Monday, which, like, we don't go over a ton, so that's also something I might talk to my teacher about. It's like, I feel like I could be learning faster, but we're taking it really slow. Okay, so month 2, I actually started to get very surprised, because when I was listening to Korean music or watching Korean dramas, I would suddenly hear a word and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I know what they said. Or a phrase, oh, I understand that. And that is like the best feeling when you're learning a new language and then you start to hear things. I remember when I was learning Vietnamese, I had that same, like, in 2012, summer 2012, I was on the treadmill listening to a Vietnamese song and I heard a sentence and I understood it, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So same thing for Korean. I started to like hear things that I understood. It got me really excited. And then one day I had a meeting, an appointment with a student from Korea, and he came to my office and I said to myself, I said, Audrey, let's do this. Let's 안녕하세요 when he gets here. So student comes in and I said, 안녕하세요. And he said, oh, are you Audrey? And I said, yes, 네. And he said, oh, your Korean's so good. I thought you were Korean. I thought I was speaking to a Korean person. And I was like, 진짜요? And he said, 진짜, 진짜. He was so excited. And like that just, I literally just said hello. I didn't say anything else. But like the gratification of hearing a native Korean speaker say that your pronunciation is just as good as a native. What? After 1 month? Okay, no. I mean, I have learned Korean in the past, but you get my drift. It was just so great. And so it was funny because he was here for an appointment, you know, he was there for an appointment, a student appointment, and he actually started giving me like a Korean lesson. So it was a really great appointment. It was a great experience. And again, it just solidified my motivation for learning Korean. Dia 씨, 안녕하세요.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, 감사합니다. I was checking your homework today. You did really nicely. You did it really nicely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course.
good.
Yeah. So I will show you how I usually check the homework.
오케이. 자, 다시 이거는 시계예요? 아니면 안경이에요?
이거는 안경이에요.
아, 맞아요. 좋아요. 자, 그다음에 이거는 책이에요? 아니면 노트예요?
이거는 책이에요.
And then I want to make your own questions. 이에요.
네.
네.
이거는 의자예요. So the
So,
question can be
이거는 네.
이거는 의자예요? 아니면 책상이에요?
맞아요. 좋아요. 좋습니다.
Now, in the final month of my challenge, so weeks 8 through 12, this was December 2023, the previous month, I could not study Korean as much as I wanted to because my family kept getting sick. So at the end of November into December, and then again at Christmas time, December, everybody got really sick. It was terrible. And so I had to like cancel some of my lessons. But fortunately, when you cancel your lesson through Italki, you can talk to your teacher and they're very understanding. So I actually got to rebook the lesson. I didn't lose the money. My teachers were both really nice about that. So I like that. It didn't like make me feel bad that I had to miss my lesson. So even though I missed some of my classes, I was still really happy with the foundation of Korean that I got in just 3 months. And I'm really appreciative of my 2 amazing teachers who were so patient with me and explained things. I even had one lesson with Dia where we went completely off of the lesson that she had planned because I asked some questions and then we just got to going like in a different direction, but she went with the flow and it was amazing. So I do stand by the service that Italki provides for language learners. So click the link down below because I do have an offer just for you guys. And so it's if you buy $10 of Italki credit, you get $5 credit. So you get extra $5 to use towards your lessons. They do have free trial lessons in the app, so you can even just try that. So I highly recommend if you have a language that you want to learn, you're like really excited about, go click my link down below and use the code Audrey 2024 to start your language journey today. And hurry up because this is only available to the first 50 people that click the link. So if you didn't click it fast enough, you might not get the offer. But yeah, definitely go check it out. Again, like I have paid my own money for this service and I think it's worth it. So I'm not just saying this because I'm partnering, but also because I truly stand by Italki and I have used it personally. So I just want to put that out there because I think it's important to be transparent about that. So where do we go from here? At this point, I speak some Korean. Am I conversational? No. Can I connect with a Korean person? Yes. I can say things like I said before. 안녕하세요. 저는 Audrey예요. 저는 미국 사람이에요. 저는 뉴저지에 살아요. Like I live in New Jersey. 컴퓨터가 책상 위에 있어요. the computer is on the desk. Like I'm learning these things, like something is near something, like 가방이 의자 앞에 있어요. The bag is in front of the chair. So yeah, slow and steady wins the race when it comes to learning Korean. That's all I gotta say. You will get discouraged. It will be difficult. I promise you it's worth it if you push through. It's really fun language. I think you know, I'm gonna continue because I do dream of traveling to Korea, and also like I said, I go to Korean market every day. Not every day, but every week. I go to Korean market every week, and I'm still a little bit shy, but I hope that in a few more months I'll be able to say 안녕하세요 and then ask a question like, how much does this cost? Do you have this? Like, I don't know, how can I say that? I can say 단무지 있어요? Do you have pickled radish? So yeah, simple stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed following along with this little mini language journey 3-month challenge. I do plan to make more videos about like other languages. Like I would love to make a video of me speaking Chinese because I have not spoken Chinese in a long time. So it'd be really fun to like challenge myself to make a video in Chinese. Let's see how it goes. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Comment down below if you have a language that you want to learn, or if you have experience learning Korean and you have any tips and tricks, leave them down below because I need some help. So, 감사합니다. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!